Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day, another episode of 30 NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about a Forbes article from Paul Tassi. The Bungie and Destiny 2 situation gets worse per new info. If you're watching this after the fact, please make sure you share, like, subscribe. We're trying to hit 2,000 subscribers. If you're also watching this after the fact, I had other videos leading up to this. Those videos come out, and they're just reading the news and giving you my thoughts. They're probably obsolete when they come out because news constantly moves, but videos were already recorded. So this is the third edition of all the information that we have now of the past 2 days. Those videos are actually airing to, Thursday, which is November 2nd, if you're watching this after the fact. So Bungie and Destiny 2 situation gets worse per new info. Okay, while Bungie's wide-reaching layoffs occur on Monday, Tuesday was all about making sense of the mess, uncovering new information about what happened and why and how it linked into the performance of Destiny 2 specifically. Paul Tassi spoke with the source, as did IGN and Bloomberg, and the picture painted through all of it was rough to see, especially if you're an avid player of Bungie games, including Destiny. Here's the information that was uncovered yesterday and how it went down and what on earth is going on over there. Okay, the first point. While owned by Sony, Bungie continues to operate as an independent arm. A wider Sony ask for spending cuts resulted in Bungie deciding on the larger number of layoffs, estimated to say around 100 employees, 8% of the company, with them deciding who was laid off and how process unfolded, going back on what they said a year and a half ago, as the acquisition would not mean layoffs. Now, Sony is not replacing anyone with the internal employees, but some of the cut roles may now be outsourced entirely. Point number 2. Employees found themselves locked out of all their accounts, systems, emails before many knew what had been laid off. Now, there was also first indicator. Others had short meetings and what they were told they were fired, but also not to tell anyone about it. Others found out the layoffs were happening on Twitter. I love how these companies are like, shh, Chuck, I want to let you know, you did a really good job. We really appreciate you, but you got to pack your shit up and you got to get out the door. Oh, and by the way, those shares that you got from Sony, you got to give them back. The vested stuff, yeah, we got to get that back. Appreciate it. Shh, don't tell anybody else in the office, right? Because it's Monday, and we don't want to ruin anyone else's week. All right, have a good day, Chuck. Right? Like, what are we talking about here? This is like 101 of not doing it, right? Bullet point number 3. Employees were often not allowed to say goodbye to other team members or exchange contact information, which had to be done after the fact. Many team/line managers had no idea who was being cut from their teams until it happened. Some teams only lost a few people, others were dismantled. Bullet point number 4. The company purposely tried to internally hide just how many people had been fired. This seems normal, right? And only outside reporting after the fact came up with the 100 number. It came to light Bungie had fired some incredibly storied veterans and company like its composer, Michael Salvatore, there since the pre-Halo days, and Lorraine McLeese, who designed the original Halo logo. Next bullet point. Some employee benefits expired at the end of the month, meaning being fired on the 30th means just a single day for additional coverage for these benefits. Healthcare will continue as COBRA coverage for 3 months as long as as severance. This is just laughable. This is almost this is worse than when Blizzard fires their employees and they give them nothing except a gift card to use in the store from Blizzard. Okay? This is worse than that. And that was pretty bad. They're like, sorry, I fired you. Here's a $25 gift card. Make sure you spend it on the way out. Okay, next bullet point. Many employees had unvested shares as a result of the Sony deal that mandated they stayed with the company a number of years afterward to collect. But that is null if you leave, and that includes being laid off. When that happens, shares revert back to Bungie, and as such, many employees just involuntarily lost their shares to a company that fired them. This is very interesting. I would like to know, okay, out of the 100 people that fired, how many people were new that didn't get shares, and how many people that they fired had shares in the company when they got bought out? Because this would be very interesting to know if they fired all the people that had shares or had the most shares based on their time there. Okay, that would be very interesting to know but I guess we'll find out at a later time. Okay. He continues on and saying, while Bungie is far from the first company to execute cold mass layoffs, this all sounds more like something out of the investment bank rather than a company that was supposed to be tight-knit family. Indeed, many of the employees did feel like a family to each other, which is why losing 1 out of 10 friends overnight is so hard for those who remain. But this is the way it was. But it was the way that it was all done is a massive source of anger within the company, and the reason so many are willing to talk about what happened exactly, what's going on over there. Well, yeah. They basically said, F you guys. Thanks for your hard-earned work. Thanks for being with the company for 20-something years. See you later. Peace out. Give us your shares. And don't let the door kick you on the way out. Okay? It says, that's the layoffs. But further reporting from Bloomberg and IGN shed light on the problems that led to this mess. In a town hall, Pete Parsons offended many by saying the right people were left to work on Destiny. Let me take that for a second. Pete Parson, obviously he's upper management, him saying that, and I can understand people get offended. I talked about this the other day. I don't get offended. That wouldn't offend me, right? Obviously, if I'm still there, right? Because let's be honest. If you didn't get fired, yeah, you're upset that your friends got fired, but you still have a job. So when someone comes in to kind of give morale and be like, hey, look, the right people are still here, okay? Now, the other people he got rid of was like the dead weight. Basically is what he's saying, which is a shit move to say. Poor choice of words on his part, but I understand what he was trying to do. He was trying to get morale like, hey, listen, the people that we let go, we got the right people here. These are the right people moving forward that we're going to be good with the company and nothing's going to change. But as the employee, you're like, you're full of shit, dude. Like, you said no one was getting laid off and now people are laid off. You took their shares. You told them not to speak to people. So it's very interesting to to know what's going on here with Destiny and with Bungie. Okay. I continue. He says, we were left to work in Destiny, and Destiny is rather bad shape at the moment, and it turned Bungie is as well. Now, another bullet point he says here is employees were told that Bungie was on track for a 45% revenue miss based on previous projections for the year. It's unclear if the estimates were too high in the first place, and I'm hearing that they were unrealistic. But the miss also comes with the base problems of the series. Now, obviously, from year over year, if they projected this and they didn't hit it and they dropped, yes. But we don't know what those projections are. We're not privy to that information. They just say they're 45% revenue miss. This is just something they throw out there to be like, this is the reason we did it. This is the reason we had to do the layoffs, because we were 45%, revenue missed based on the previous projections. Okay. Lightfall was big, negative turning point. While achieving a whole lot of players at launch, it was Steam's highest concurrent count since D2 launch on the platform. Extremely poor reception to the expansion reverberated through the rest of the year, and players' engagement fell off hard. Okay. If you guys just watched the video yesterday we brought the GDC interview where we were talking about how in Destiny 2, when it first came out, it hit rock bottom. It seems like that's where it's hitting right now. The next bullet point says employees were told players' sentiment as was an all-time low, something that the employees themselves had been saying for a long while, and then they had begged their bosses to make changes and the players to come back, for many which were rejected, right? Because they're in it for the money, 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 right? They don't care about the changes because they're like, we're making enough money and we have a player base that we have, and the player base that we have is spending enough money until you're not. And then it's your fault the 100 people got fired because you're not spending enough. So be better. Be better, players. Spend more money on microtransactions. Okay? Now, the previous report delayed that the final shape for 4 months is indeed confirmed from both IGN and Bloomberg, though not Bungie expansion pre-sales are low. And the expansion is looking not good, not great, according to insiders, hence the extra time to work on it. Now, Marathon 2 is also delayed to 2025, and there are also reports it may be looking at a little rough at present. Marathon needs to be a smash hit in order for Bungie to have significant revenue source that they can rely on, and it's that isn't Destiny 2. That's correct. They need a cha-ching where microtransactions are going to be extraction shooter, comeback, PvP, right? It's going to be that's the moneymaker they need besides Destiny 2, because they can't sell Destiny 2 anymore. People are yeah, it's the same MO. You're going to drop a thing, put the best things behind the Eververse, and try to get $40 out of us after we paid $40, $50 for the expansion. Right? People are kind of tired of that. Additionally, speaking of revenue, many employees have been upset about Bungie's investment in sprawling, expensive new 200,000 square foot HQ in Bellevue, and also cost tens of millions to build, despite Bungie relentlessly plugging themselves as the leader of remote work. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? Those of you that have been here, I talked about this 208,000 square foot studio they were building back in 2020, and then we got hit with COVID, right? And they had this giant building they built. I was like, how are they building this 208,000 square foot building on top of the 86,000 square foot place they already had? So total, they have over 286,000 square feet of studio. Yet, boo-hoo, gotta keep our lights on, pay more microtransactions, it's your fault, everyone's losing their job. Okay, there's also just bad luck. While this may also have been down year for Destiny 2, no matter what, it's also a wild year for game releases, with dozens of top-rated extremely good, often very long games being released almost endless. It's a year that offers an enormous amount of alternatives to the aging 7-year-old live service Destiny 2, no matter what content is producing, so that's at least the least factor. Paul goes on to say, but now it's hard to see how the situation does not get worse. I've seen low community sentiment before, but this is for core of the earth. Low now after how they went down. Anger at Bungie management has many players walking away from the game or canceling Final Shape pre-orders. A 6 to 7 month extension season of 23 will mean even more irritation from players, and given all this, the general sense that Destiny essentially ends for many after the Final Shape. No matter what else is planned, a common industry thought is that Bungie needs to pivot to Destiny 3 instead of letting Destiny 2 shamble on endlessly. But Bungie has given absolutely no indication that that's the plan. He goes on and says, it's a terrible situation from every angle. We've seen a lot of horrible industry layoffs this year, but for those in the Destiny community, for Bungie employees specifically, this feels like an act of betrayal, and no one will really know to be motivated to keep playing, to keep working after all of this. Now, on Twitter, I went to Twitter, and Paul himself said that he doesn't know what to do. He's torn, okay? And this is not making fun of him in any way, shape, or form. He says he's torn. He doesn't know because he loves Bungie. He loves Destiny. He loves playing Destiny. But he's like, I don't know if I can continue supporting this company because of what they've done. And that's for you to decide, right? Are you a person that has morals and integrity where you see something like this happen? I mean, I boycotted Take-Two because of what they did with Borderlands 3 leading up to stuff, right? I didn't buy Cyberpunk 2077 because I didn't like the way the company was talking about their game and then selling the product. It might be the greatest game now, 2 years later, but I have integrity, right? The only way a customer has power in this industry is by voting with your wallet. Now, I'm not here to tell you how to spend your money, but if you're a person that is debating, should I support this company because if I don't pay for this microtransaction, they're going to lose their job. That's not how it works, okay? I come from the film industry. The film industry raises the money, gets investors, and they make a movie. They get paid once they release that movie. If that movie is fantastic or that TV show is fantastic, people watch it, meaning it either gets more ad revenue and stuff like that, and that's how they make the money, or it goes into theaters, and people are like, man, this is a really good movie, and they pay their hard-earned money. Once they make that money back, they then give it to the investors. But the people working, the devs, the camera operator in the film industry, the PAs, the grips, the grips, the gaffers, the directors, everybody, art department, they got their money. We got our checks when we made the actual project, okay? These devs are not living check by check. I mean, they are, but they already have the money. The company already has the money. They know that they budgeted if it cost $100 million to make over 5 years, they have that money. They've been paying for that to make the game. Now the company wants to make their money back. If you want to vote with your wallet, then don't pre-order games. Because if you pre-order games, they look at it and go, well, why do we have to make any more? If a company can make all its money on day one, what is the incentive to make a good product? Besides, if they have integrity. Now, the devs have integrity and they have morals, but the companies that run and pay the devs do not have integrity or morals. Okay? It's a company. It's an entity. It's people that are looking to make as much money as possible, and the way they make that is from you and me. Okay? So, if you don't like something a company is doing, if it's doing cube crawls an Activision Blizzard and you don't like that, then don't buy an Activision Blizzard game. If you don't like what Bungie is doing or the layoffs that are happening, don't buy a Bungie game. If this hurts the remaining people, I don't know what to tell you. Some people are going to be okay with this. Some people are not going to be okay with this. But in general, it's pretty messed up what the company did to their company, to their employees. And if it was you in that company, would you be okay with it? Would you be okay that they took your investment away from you after they told you no one's getting laid off, and then take your actual investment that they get paid and then take it from you, even though you could leave and still have an investment in that company? It's a little shady. It's a little shitty, and it's bad. It's bad PR across the board. Bad management, bad company. They've been like this for years. These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.